Hey guys, it's Kaitlin. Welcome back. Today I thought we would sit down and chat about notebooks. Specifically, I wanted to share my thoughts on this bullet journal addition to notebook that I've been using as my bullet journal since July, and just go over what I've been really liking about the notebook, what I haven't been liking about the notebook, and just kind of give you my personal thoughts. So if you're thinking of buying this guy, this will hopefully give you some helpful information so you can make the best decision for you. Before we get started, you guys know the drill. I always like to recommend before we get into these videos, get cozy, grab your journal, or maybe not this time because you might be focusing on the video, and get something nice to drink. I'm drinking water today, so cheers. And yeah, let's get cozy and journal together. Alrighty, let's get things started with a couple stats. This notebook is a collaboration between the Bullet Journal Company and Leuchtturm 1917. This notebook retails for about $34.95 Canadian, and you can find it on the Leuchtturm website, the Bullet Journal website, and I've also found it in local bookstores in Canada, like Chapters Indigo. This notebook is an A5 hardcover dot grid notebook that comes with 204 pages. There's a bunch of standout features in this notebook since it is intended to be designed for bullet journaling, and let me read off to you a couple of the kind of standout features that they market with this notebook. So let me get out my notes. I mean, are you surprised that I took notes in a notebook? I mean, you shouldn't be, but here we are, right? So, standout features. The first thing is the grid guide, which is located on the inner front cover of the notebook. Also, there are some bujo specific features, such as the key page, the index page, and the future log, which are built right into the notebook. We have the smart grid system, which I'm gonna go over a little more later because there's something important you need to know about that. There is larger margins, meaning that the dot grid doesn't go to the edge of the page, so this allows a border of white space to provide a little more light and airy breathing room for all your spreads. There's also thicker paper in this notebook. This is Leuchtturm's 120 GSM paper, which is a new release for them, and there's 204 pages of that paper in this notebook. There's also a pocket guide located at the back of the notebook, which provides detailed instructions on how to set up your bullet journal. And also in the back, there are a bunch of sticker sheets which have some fun stickers like this lightning bolt, but also have some more functional stickers that help you set up all your bujo spreads much faster. All right, so let me put back my notes now. So that was a quick overview of all of the main features that are really kind of talked about with this notebook. And in case you're curious, here is what the bullet journal looks like new. This is out of the plastic wrap that's packaged with it, but this is the kind of little cover guide that you get with it. It has all the features listed on the back, and in here it comes with both your pocket guide and your stickers tucked into the back. So they're all kind of ready to go there. And personally, I just took these and put them in the pocket just so they're not flying around. So this is a new notebook, and the reason why I brought this guy out is because something important that I feel like may not be visible in a lot of reviews of this notebook is that after about June, when they restocked this notebook, they decided to darken the dot grid that's printed on the pages. So if you see here, these are actually slightly different notebooks. This one I have on my left was the original print version of this notebook that they released back in January. So if you look at this notebook, let's get you a blank page, you might notice that the dot grid, like you can't even actually see it here. But do you see how incredibly light that is? So that's pretty light. And what happened was that some people loved the dot grid and some people were like, we can't even see the dots. And Bullet Journal listened and they came out with an updated version, which is this guy. The packaging looks the same, the journal looks the same. The only visible difference is that, as you can see, the dots are significantly darker. So I thought I'd provide this brief comparison and just show you that, and also mention that this notebook I received from Bullet Journal, so I haven't used it with these darker dots, but besides the dot darkness, my review of this notebook will be the same. So I think I went on about that for long enough. Let's get into my personal experience and thoughts on this notebook. So the first thing I'm gonna start off with in this notebook is a couple of the things that I really liked about it when using it. The first standout for me was the smart grid. So pretty much the smart grid is these tiny dots that are on the margins of the page, and they help you indicate and know where to divide your page if you want to divide it into halves, thirds, and quarters. And for me, I don't like to do a ton of intense dividing, but having a division for just those couple of measurements was really helpful and saved me a ton of time. And it's the kind of thing that you don't notice till you actually have the notebook and then you really appreciate. So that was something that I thought was just like a really cool, unique design and was really helpful when journaling and setting up spreads. The next thing that I really liked about this notebook was the lighter dots. Obviously, the new notebook is not really the same in this Pro. The dots are a lot darker and a lot higher contrast, but I actually really liked how light these dots were. I thought it was great because it was really distraction free and really didn't detract from the information on the page. So that was another thing I loved. In addition to that, I guess a lot of my pros have to do with the paper, because my next pro is I really liked the color of the paper. Because I don't do a lot of decorating in my journal, I really love the warm cream pages because I find they just make the pages feel, I don't know, cozy and just more inviting to write on, I guess. So for me, the cream paper was also another thing I liked. The last couple things I really liked were the pocket guide. I think that it was cool for me as a bullet journal kind of veteran, I guess. I've been bullet journaling for the past 4 years, but it was cool to revisit the practice and just kind of catch up on what's going on now. And I think it would be really helpful for new people as well, so that's awesome. I also really loved the wider margins on the paper. It just brought a lot of white space to the page, which I really liked. The last thing I really liked about this notebook is the durability. So here I searched my notebook, and the only thing that I noticed that was kind of scuffed, and I don't even think you can really see it, is there's a tiny dirt mark right there, but considering how light in color this notebook cover is, I was really impressed that it didn't mark or really show dirt at all. Even on the back, it's pretty good. So definitely awesome for if you're using this guy for 6 to 12 months and you don't want it to look kind of dirty and battered by the end. It definitely held up well for me. Alright, so now that I've gone over the things I like, let me give you a lowdown, a throwdown, if you will, of the things I didn't like about this notebook. There's really only one thing. Overall, I had a great time using this notebook and will continue to have a great time until December. But the one thing I didn't love is that the paper is coated. And the result of that is whenever you write on it with a gel pen, and I can imagine a fountain pen, it takes a really long time for the pen to dry. And if you don't take time to let the pen dry, if you run your hand over it, it'll smudge, and if you turn the page before it's dry, it will transfer ink onto the page adjacent. So I can show you a lot of examples of this because I'm really not patient with my notebooks, but I can think of one that was like really intense. It was a really intense moment. And for reference, I use a Muji 0.5 retractable gel pen. So that's kind of the pen I'm using in this notebook. Here we go. Okay, so this was actually on a plane. And if you can see on the right side here, there's a bunch of smudging on here, and that was just for me dragging my left hand on the page while writing a reflection on the right, and unfortunately I didn't notice till later. It's not really a huge deal, it's just something that is a bit of a friction point because you tend to be waiting for the page to dry before you can turn the page. And I found this to be a bit bothersome when I was, let's say, doing my daily log and I was at the end of a page and I wanted to continue my task list onto the next page, but had to wait for the first page to dry. So, you know, you could definitely remedy this by adding a piece of printer paper in between your pages, but it is something that definitely was maybe, I guess, a downside to the notebook, but definitely not a total deal breaker for me. And besides that one con, that's kind of an overview of this notebook. I thought I would end this video just by quickly going over who I would recommend this notebook to. So I think this notebook would be really great for someone who wants slightly thicker pages, a very visible dot grid that provides lots of contrast, and wants some really nice warm colored pages. I also think that if you're just starting off with bullet journaling, this is a great notebook to check out after you've kind of tested out the system and know that it's something you want to continue using, because it is $35 Canadian, so I wouldn't just like buy this notebook and then test out bullet journaling and then realize you don't like it. Instead, I'd recommend using a notebook you already have, testing the system, seeing if you like it, and then if you do like it, you can always upgrade to this guy. Also, I think that if anyone's buying anyone Christmas gifts, this would be a great gift for someone starting out with bullet journaling. I think it has everything you would need to not only have a great notebook experience, but it provides a lot of information on how to bullet journal, which I think is a really unique feature of this notebook. So that is an overview of my notebook. I hope you guys enjoyed hearing my thoughts, and I hope that they helped anyone thinking of maybe getting this notebook for the new year and wanting an idea of how it holds up after a couple months. And besides that, thank you so much for watching. Best of luck in the new year if you guys are getting your notebooks ready, and I guess I'll just chat with you guys in the next video. Bye everybody.